Welcome back to the Vertu YouTube channel, and today is Vauxhall Astra Day, the new one. Vauxhall make good looking cars now. You heard it here first. The Astra is where they're showing off a little bit. This is the design of the front. As you can see, we've got some horizontal air intake there and there, and I really like that it comes to a point with this groove down the bonnet. It just makes it look aggressive and sporty. Obviously we've got this beautiful blue. This is a Griffin edition, which is sort of entry-level value edition, and it's got the contrasting roof, black mirror caps as well, and I just think it looks so nice. Now, not only is it nice at the front, I think down the side where they've made it look a lot longer and more of a substantial car, it's actually not that different in terms of chassis size, but I think it just looks beefier, and that is a good thing. And as I go down the side, we've got the contrasting roof, and I think that looks really nice, but we've also got a little bit of a nod to the original Astra. These little indentations here in the rear mirror. Let's cut to a shot of the original Astra and show you what we mean. But nice touches like that make it feel a little bit special. The alloys, really smart. 17s on this one. They go from 16s all the way through to 18s on the top GSC and GS models. These are really nice, and again, making it look like a sporty edition. No longer have you got to get a thing called a VXR. They don't do them anymore, but they've kept making Astra look nicer than the VW Golf. Did I just say that? I don't know, maybe. The rear end of this car, it just continues. It's very nice. We've got the rear light sort of embedded into the bodywork there. We've got some rear privacy glass on the rear windscreen and the rear windows. The spoiler sort of comes out a little bit there with that contrasting roof. We've got Astra across the back. Very proud that we're Astra, because they are showing off with the looks of this car. And we've even got the boot cap that actually resembles VW as well, and we've got no fake exhaust poking out there, and it sort of fits with that family aesthetic as well as still looking really sporty. They're not messing about, Vauxhall. They have created possibly one of the best looking hatchbacks around. Let's jump on the inside. Jumping on the inside of the Astra, is it as nice on the inside as it is the outside? Well, I'm just going to start it up to make sure I've got everything looking at me in the right way. And first of all, yes, I think it is a very nice car. Let's do the little hard plastic test. And the good news, that's not hard plastic, that is textured, and so is the dash. Yes, that's a little bit harder there, but there are trim levels that you can get that as Alcantara. Yes, fancy. This is, as I mentioned, an entry-level model. It's a Griffin model, which is the sort of value model. There is a design model, then there is GS, and then there's GSE as well, where you get a little bit more in terms of the seats and sports seats, etc. This has just got a little bit of a cloth material all the way through. There's no Alcantara, no leather to be found, but very comfortable. What I'm greeted with is two screens, which is sort of designed in one big screen. Yes. Now the electric version is going to be one big screen, but this is two screens. Two 10-inch infotainment system over here, which is tilted towards me. I really like that. I like that on the Corsa that we did a couple of weeks ago. Click on the link if you want to watch that video. I've also got driver display here. No frills and spills with the driver display. It looks nice. It's actually pretty big. There's not much going on in terms of information, but it does look the part. Now, infotainment system is really easy to use, and I am pleased because I've got buttons as well for my climate control, which is super important to me. I've got all sorts on here. I can control it on the infotainment system, but I also got a little home button to control it via the dash as well. I've also got, as standard, a lot of things on this entry level model. on this Griffin model that I told you about. Not only have I got the contrasting roof and all the stuff on the outside, on the inside I've got heated seats, I've got a heated steering wheel, I've got keyless entry, I've got adapted cruise control as well. So as standard, you're getting quite a lot. You haven't got to go all the way to the GS or the GSE models, which is really quite pleasing considering the new Astra is going to be more expensive than the old new Astra. You know what I mean. You car people know what I mean. The entry-level Astra of yesteryear was a little bit cheaper, quite a bit cheaper, but you get what you pay for because you are in a lot of a nicer car. Couple more things on some higher trim levels. This little bit of plastic that you get here in the dash and the door, you can get to match the exterior paintwork. So if you've got the red or the yellow, you can get that to match the red or the yellow, which I really quite like. I think that's quite cool. But yeah, no such luck on this one, but I'm really not that bothered. You also can get updated sort of stereo sound systems. You also can get the 18-inch alloys. This comes with LED headlights, which is great, but you can also get that with beam assist as well on the higher models. Make sure you go to Vertu dealership and make sure you get the right Astra for you. Couple more things. I'll go through the storage compartments in a moment because you know I like to crawl through a car with bottles, etc. But another thing that I think is worth mentioning, build quality is good. However, there's a lot of this sort of piano black plastic around. It surrounds the screen. There's a little bit over here with the vents. There's a lot here on the center console. Now what that means is I'm going to touch it and it's going to smudge. That's right. You're gonna have your child in the front here eating a McDonald's, and you're not gonna want them to touch anything at the front here because you're gonna get a lot of dirt on that piano black plastic. That's just a thing for me. I'd prefer a little bit of a different effect, but that's okay. I'll get over it. I've also got, as standard, a wireless charging pad. I've got 2 USB-C points and a 12-volt charging point as well, which is fantastic. And also the infotainment system, worth mentioning, back to that as standard theme. I've got wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as standard. I think that's really quite cool. Now, the wireless charging pad isn't on the main entry-level model, but it is on this Griffin model for you as well. So there we go. I think we've got a lot as standard up front. Right, worth mentioning as well, I've got electric seats. I can move up, down. I've also got the bar underneath to move them back and forth. So I've got both. I can move stuff in my seats with this electric knob down here, and this electric button moves me up and it moves me down, but I can also pump the old lever and I can move it with a bar. I've got options. One thing to mention, there are no ISOFIX points here on the front seat, which we are seeing on more hatchbacks nowadays. Obviously we can sort out the old airbag and you can have your child up front with you, but not in this Astra. Worth mentioning if you are thinking about this as your next family car. Storage time. I've got bottles, I've got a phone, and I've got the cameraman's wallet, which has got £20 in it. Not for much longer. No, I would not steal, I'm joking. Right, okay. Door bins are quite big. There's a little bit of a thing there. I can't get it in. It's very hard plastic in there. It's going to be rattling around in there, but it fits the big wallet in and it fits the bottle in it. No problem. Right, okay, what else can I get in here? Right. Now, there's a number of little storage compartments. For a start, we've got cup holders. Oh, there's a problem with that one. What's that? Is that a cup holder? Okay, we've got 2 cup holders and in a 3rd compartment. There's even a little thing there that keeps your cup in place because this is a bit of a little cup and there's a little wiggle room. I mean, it requires a bigger bottle at the moment. I'll show you what's happening here. I don't know what that's for. A very small cup. But anyway, there we go. We've got that. We've also got this little compartment here that has the wireless charging pad for my phone, and then there's a little bit more space there for your keys because obviously this is stop start, so you need a space for your keys, and that's where the USB-C is and the 12-volt charging points. So that's good, and it's covered up just in case you don't want to see anything in there. is covered up. And remember, you've got wireless, so you don't have to worry about wires going in there to charge and to connect your phone up to the Apple CarPlay. Now, we've got something that Mercedes have. Look at this. Ooh, look at that. I push a button. Ooh, slow-mo. Yes. Now I can close one. I can have it as an armrest while the other person fiddles it around in there. It's quite deep as well. Do my bottles go in there? I think both. Oh, look at that. Now that is good. Deep, and it's a bit fancy. And that is leather effect there. That is some nice squidgy material. Nothing plastic, doesn't move forward or whatever. Doesn't close up your space here for your bottles. Glove box, pretty big. Actually, not that big. But my 2 bottles go in there. Easy. Right, okay, there we go. 2 bottles go in. There's another door bin over there. We've got lots of space. I think in other models where I don't have this big manual gear stick, there's got a bit of a different console where the cup holders are actually covered by one of these little plastic drawer things or sliding door thingies. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with the storage. Let's jump in the back. Right, in the back here, I'm pretty happy with the room. That's my driving position and I'm pretty comfortable. So I'm ready for a long journey in the back here. And there's plenty of room. 3 across the back is not going to be a problem in this. And also headroom, fantastic. I've got my privacy glass back here. There is quite a bit of hard plastic back here, but I'm a passenger. What more do I want? I've got a little bit of a door bin here, and higher spec models, you do get a little bit more in the way of, you do get a little bit of a center console with some cup holders and an armrest, and you can get through loading space to the boot. In this model, we do not have that. We do have a couple of vents here, and we do have 1 USB-C charging point, and we have a little cubby hole here. I don't know what for. What could go in there? Maltesers? Don't know. Mints? I don't know. And yeah, I don't have a pocket here either on this particular model. So on this model, the entry level model, the passengers are left without the mod cons that you would get on a higher spec model. However, Isofix, they've got zips. Are they accessible? They are quite accessible. They have got zips. Some people like zips, some people don't. I feel the zips are a little bit unnecessary. However, there are some people in head office at Vertu that go, we like zips. Stop taking the mick out of zips, Zach. Sorry. It's preference, right? It's preference. I prefer just the nice, accessible Isofix point. But this has got zips, so do with that what you will. As a family man, the boot is the most important thing, and I really like the way that opens. I know I've already said that. Right, okay, good news for Astra owners or wannabe Astra owners. You have pretty much the range-topping boot space for its kind. It's really good. 422 litres! 422 litres, that is a lot of space in there. And remember, if you go and get the hybrid version, you lose some space. You lose about 70 litres of space, but it's still gonna be a range topper. There's only one that beats it slightly, the Skoda Octavia. It does, it beats it. That's got about 600. Wow. But that is a big boot. Now, on other trim levels, there is a way we can solve this load lip, because look, there is a big old gap between there and there. However, there is an adjustable floor in some of the other range topping models that gets rid of that straight away. Eats into your litres, but it gets rid of it. And yeah, we've got some tethering points. We've got a little bit under there. Let's check out how you put the seats down, but just to let you know, if you have got one of those range topping models, this goes under the floor when it's risen. But otherwise, you've got to chuck it to the cameraman over there. Well caught. Right, okay, so we've got a 60-40 split, and it is just a case of pushing that down, and then there we go. There, you don't have to go around the front, but we do have a little bit of a lip. There we go. Putting something in flat, like, I don't know, a dishwasher. Do people put dishwashers in there nowadays? Cupboard, chest of drawers, other stuff. There's going to be a bit of a problem. However, you know, you can't have it all. You've got loads of room. Right, cases. I'll grab mine. Can't get the staff nowadays. But this should be an absolute doddle. Oh, thank you, sir. Getting this stuff in. Thank you. And there's a little one. And there it is. And you've got loads of room. I can fit you in there. Probably not. But there is a lot of room in that boot. Now, before we get in and drive the car, we need to go through your engine options. Now, there are a few. Right, starting off, there is a 110 brake horsepower, 1.2 litre option, and that only comes in a manual. Then there is a 1.2 litre petrol option that gives you 130 brake horsepower that you can get in auto and manual. Then you can get a 1.5 litre diesel turbo option that comes around about 130 brake horsepower and only comes in auto. Then you can go up to the 1.6 litre hybrid option that gets you 180 brake horsepower, but there also is a GSE version of that 1.6 litre hybrid option that gets you 225 brake horsepower. Whew. That was one take. Right, driving the Astra. If it drives as well as it looks, we're on to a good thing. So first of all, in and around town, driving is very nice indeed. This is the 6-speed manual that we've got here, 1.2 litre petrol, and it is very, very responsive. Very little lag. It's really, really responsive when I put my foot down. Everything that I could want. Manoeuvrability, excellent as well. Gets me off the line at a roundabout. Everything I could want. I just did a little turn in the road. The turning circle on this is 10.5 metres. The Corsa was 10.4, and considering this is altogether a bigger car, the bigger brother, that's pretty decent. So I'm pretty happy with that as well. Out on country roads, when you're able to get to 60 miles per hour and put your foot down and need a little bit of grip, etc., again, very, very good car. It's excellent for visibility. I can see everything up front. Out the rear windscreen, I'm a little bit hampered by a couple of the pillars at the back, but it is pretty good in terms of all-round driving in town and on country roads. Where it's lacking, I guess, a little bit is the fun element. There's very little fun in terms of, you know, there's specs of this car that have a sport mode. I don't think it actually does much. This manual that I've got is probably the most fun you're going to have out of it. And yeah, it's not got, I guess, as much oomph and as fun as perhaps a VW Golf or a Ford Focus. And that's this Astra's competitors, I guess. But in terms for comfort, it is going to rival those with ease. Now, to back that up in terms of stats, this 1.2 litre manual that we've got here obviously comes in auto as well. It will get you to 60 miles per hour in 9.7 seconds. Now, there are specs that climb to 180 brake horsepower and then over 200 brake horsepower. That's going to get you to 60 in around about 7.9 seconds. So there's a little bit of a difference there when considering this is about 50 brake horsepower less. But that's why I say it's very, very good for in and around town and country driving. On motorways as well, they've made the Astra substantial enough to be able to handle motorway miles as well. This is going to be a great car for perhaps that work commute, and I can see these being extremely popular, as the Corsa is as well, perhaps for those first time buyers, but this one's going to be great for racking up those motorway miles. Either the plug-in hybrid or this 1.2 litre that we're in today. The wind noise, I'm not getting any when I'm going at a little bit more of a speed on country roads and on dual carriageways, so that's really good. And I don't feel that the rev counter's going like the clappers when I'm putting my foot down, which means it's an all-rounder, and you'd expect that for the bigger brother of the Vauxhall Corsa. It needs to be able to be great for motorways for a family car. This is going to be, we don't all have to drive an SUV anymore. We can drive a hatchback. like the Focus, like the Astra, and this absolutely ticks a lot of boxes if you're considering a family car, especially with that massive boot that I talked about. We talked about the performance of how quick it is, but how is it on miles per gallon? Well, driving around the 1.2 litre petrol option, auto or manual, you're going to be around about low 40s. If you go for the 1.5 litre turbo diesel, you're going to be around about low 50s. And then with the hybrid versions, somewhere in between, I should imagine. So again, in keeping with the competition. Couple more things. Infotainment system is very, very easy to use whilst driving. That's important. Some of them are really complicated, but you can swipe across so it shows the map and it shows you the options that you've got here. We've also got the home button to take you back to a home screen where you can navigate quite easily through the driving assists as well as your DAB, and Android Auto and Apple CarPlay is wireless as well. So it's very, very easy, and I'm glad I've got buttons to control the climate controls as well as the infotainment system. So I'm pretty happy with that. Everything on my driver display, very simple, very functional. I'm a pretty big fan of a simple in a car, so that's no problem with me. I think other people have said maybe it could be a little bit better with actually the information it shows you, but I've got no problem with that. In terms of driving assist, of course you can turn them off pretty easily, but I quite like having them on, and there's plenty to help you. It's got lane assist, it's got the braking assist, it's also got telling you the speed, the correct speed to be at. It's got everything that you could want that any SUV out there has got, and we come to expect of any new car. But it's just nice to know that Vauxhall have got it as standard, and again, it is pretty easy to turn off if you are worried about the constant beeping. Right, okay, reversing. Now I'm just going to reverse into a spot here and test the old camera, because not only have I got a camera, I've got a 360 reverse sensory camera-y thing going on, where I've got top down on my Astra and I can see everything around me. You know what? It's a really good reverse camera. There you have it. That is the Astra done and dusted. And I think you can probably glean from this that I'm pretty pleased with Vauxhall and what they've done with this hatchback. It's definitely one of the best looking ones out there on the road. Possibly better than the Golf, possibly better than the Ford Focus. It might lack a little bit when it comes to the exciting drive as those two competitors. However, in terms of space, it is fantastic, and there is a load of trims to go through to make sure you got the right one for you. But don't just take my word for it. As always, go to Vertu, book a test drive, drive this car yourself, and hopefully you will be driving away in one of the best hatchbacks around. We will see you very, very soon on the next one.